This is One Leeds. Welcome back to the latest video. This video, as always, is sponsored by Shop GNO, the Job Match Group, and Match Bingo. Let's get into it. First up, the Job Match Group. Whether you're looking for your next big gig or just browsing, the Job Match Group has niche job sites made just for you. F1, retail, security, and loads more. They're about matching the right person to the right job. Make sure you check them out if you're ready to level up your career. Then we've got Shop GNO, an exciting new e-commerce site where you can grab exclusive deals and discounts. Right now, One Leeds has an affiliate link just below where you can score a 25 quid membership for free, unlocking special rates and benefits. You can even list your own shop on there with way better rates than Amazon, eBay, and Vinted. They've got some Leeds bits and some general bits now and launching soon, plus some great prizes just for signing up. This is all powered by a massive Leeds United fan looking to make waves in the online shopping world. So check them out and support your local. And don't forget our mates at Match Bingo. They're smashing it with footy fun. You can get 5 bingo cards for the price of 4 through One Leeds, and you can even deposit just a £5 at a time to join the action. It's a big chance to win whilst having a blast with your fellow Leeds United friends. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Check the links in the description, and let's get on with the video. Every week we're here, guys. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know. Oh, yes, we're back. You always know we're back when we're muting on together. Are we back, everybody? Smash a like button. Hello. What is going on in your world? My name is Conor McGilligan. This is One Leeds. We should be all right now. It's saying on here we're good. Are we good? Let me know, everybody. Let's have a quick listen. Are we back? We're not here. Still muted. We have sound. Are we good? I'm here. Flipping it. Right. I swear to God, these flipping engineers. These flipping engineers. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is Conor McGilligan. I am here with the rumour mill. Now, listen, I'm going to be back here. I'm going to be back here, and we're going to be talking about everything Leeds United. There's 900 of you already in the building. Make sure you're slapping a like on the video, everybody. It's great to see all of you in here. Now, listen, I'll have a few shout outs. See these? Yeah, these are bags. This is what happens when you're getting older. But I'd just like to say, just like to say a massive thank you to everybody who came up to me, people who I've never met before. Me and my old man went out to Dublin this weekend. Unfortunately, my brother couldn't come. My brother does have there's chronic fatigue, and yeah, it's not great for him. So some days he's good, sometimes he's bad. It's a tricky situation. Unfortunately, he couldn't come out with us to Dublin, so we were all a bit gutted about that. So he's a bit down. We were a bit sort of audio's out, is it? Audio's out. We're out again. Oh, flipping it. Right, hold on. Hold on. We're out. Okay. God, this is gonna get better on it. I apologize sincerely if the audio's out, people. It shouldn't be. Audio is bad. It sounds a bit funky, but we can hear. Right, okay. Hold on. Hello. Is that any better? A little bit out. Okay. Hello, hello. Here we go again. Fantastic stuff. Any better? Any better? Any better? I'm not sure. Should be. Should be fine. I'm not sure though. Guys, let me know in the chat. Are we all good? I apologize again. We will be going for an hour this morning, so you will get your content. If it is just terrible, just let us know. Sounds like you drown. It's fine. It's fine. There is sound. Okay, I'm just gonna have a quick listen to myself on here. Seems okay. Yeah, it seems all right. Right, we'll just leave it as that. Right, screw it. We're just gonna get on with it. It's fine for us. Right, it is what it is. Right, once again, we'll have timestamps in the section below. We'll have timestamps in the section below. So if you're watching this back, we will get you just go further forward. Okay, so I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you who I met. I reckon me and the old boy reckoned we met. He reckons around about 400 people. 400 people. He was saying there's definitely easy 350, 400 people who came up to you that weekend. So unbelievable. Thank you all so much. Met Matty for the first time from Imagine Not Being Leeds podcast. Go check him out. I met Dara as well from Leeds, that podcast, which was amazing. And for the first time, I met the absolute totem pole that is Joe Lynch. So great to see him. And obviously, last but not least, Darren and Dillo from Only Leeds Bros. To shout out to all those guys. Go check them out as well on their preferred platforms and YouTube channels. And it was unbelievable. It was fantastic. And yeah, Great stuff. So, yeah, just want to say a big thank you to all of you. Didn't get out that much content, as I'm sure you're aware. Yesterday, the flight was delayed, 11 p.m. Why does this happen all the time? Why, when I go to Ireland, is it always delayed? So yeah, but it was amazing. Absolutely loved it. Peri peri chicken sorted me. That's fantastic. Great to see that, mate. Pleasure meeting you and your dad, Connor. Legends, yes, David. Good man. It's good to see you in the building, buddy. How's the head? Great to see you in Dublin. You too, JP. Yeah, it's been better. Kelly, morning all. Hope you had a great weekend. But that's what I want to do. Like I want to do that. Like, don't get me wrong, I love this. Absolutely love this. But I'm a social being. I am a social being. I absolutely love coming out and meeting you guys. Sounds so salesy, doesn't it? And oh, well, I'm wrestling this, that, and the other. It's not that. I just want to come out, meet you all, watch some games with you, have a laugh, shake your hand, give you a cuddle. Do you know what I mean? And it was just great at the weekend. I love doing that. We've done it twice in Ireland now, content-wise, if you clash yesterday as well, and Miami. Next year, I want to be out there. I want to be meeting you guys and doing all that sort of stuff. So I need to get some plans sorted. I'm thinking the States again for the World Cup, if I can somehow get a bank loan out. But we'll have to wait and see. Morning, Connor. Just had to buy the third shirt yesterday. It does look good. Warren says, met you outside the Aviva. Really sound lad. What you make of Dublin and performance. Yeah, good to meet you out there, Warren. Clear to see up top and right back is needed. Yeah, we'll get into that, Warren. Cheers, mate. Good morning, Connor from sunny Lowestoft. Looks like you had a great day out on Saturday. I did. I apologise for the lack of content. I genuinely do. We didn't do a watch along. We didn't do a match reaction. We didn't do like a fan forum. I can see Matt in the chat. We're bringing back three things as well. I know you guys love the old three things, so we're going to be bringing that back as well. So, all good stuff. Come to Perth, Connor lad. Yeah. Kev says, evening, Connor. Went on a date on Friday and just arrived home an hour ago. She's now a Leeds fan. Good lad, Kev. That's commitment. Six String Secrets says, hope you had an amazing time in Dublin. Was amazing being around 500, 500, was it? 50,000 Leeds fans. Stack is a baller. You will, Jam. You will indeed, mate. Right, okay. So what I wanted to say as well is I wanted to talk about the game just a little bit before we get into the transfer news. I wanted to get into the game. So before Farker afterwards was mentioning several times. He was mentioning Leeds need something up front. We need events. We need a little bit of offensive action up top. Yada yada yada. Absolutely fine. I thought Gabby Goodmanson was his best game in pre-season. I thought he was absolutely brilliant in the game. Perry looked a bit shaky at the start, but I thought he came into it a little bit. I think we have to talk about this midfielder. Oh my God. Like, guys, in person as well, if you're watching him, and we're going to talk, you all know who I'm going to talk about. But Anton Stack, my goodness. Like, wow. Honestly, well, me and my dad were just like, and my dad's not easily pleasing. My dad has lived through some of the best midfielders, well, the best midfielders Leeds have ever produced. And dad's watching him, and he's just almost like, and we'll do a generation Leeds on it at some point, but he was almost like dumbfounded by how good he was. Do you know what he reminds me of in terms of like personality and exuberance and what he gives off? He reminds me a little bit of Janssen. And I know he's a centre midfielder. It's completely different, but how he's barking orders, the stature of him, he's even got a little bit of a look of him as well. And just his presence on the pitch, he's just massive. He's absolutely massive. In the duels, he was absolutely. There was one free kick that got given against him. I can't remember who he brought down. It was this player in the middle. It was obviously AC Milan, the rotated teams who were playing Chelsea, weren't they, the following day? But they still had a pretty decent team out from what I'm led to believe. There's a lad in the midfield, and the Stack just was gobbling him up, and he made a brilliant tackle. Ref gave a foul. It's never a foul. Every single tackle he went in for, he won. He covered so much ground. And in person, when you watch him, it's so different to on the TV, because obviously on the TV, you'll focus on the players, won't it? You'll just follow the players or you'll follow the ball. You just watch Stack and he's everywhere. He's communicating so well with his midfielders. He's a leader in the middle of the pitch as well. He was phenomenal. Should have scored. He smacked the bar, didn't he, with his left foot as well. It was a great effort. And he was our best offensive player. He was the best offensive player in the game. But I just, his stature, his jewelry, his ground covering, his pace. He's a good ball carrier, a really good ball carrier. And he gets across the ground as well. For me and you, it might be one stride. For Stack, he moves more like a 6'7", 6'8" player. His stride length is massive, and he's going to be a real asset. Real asset. People saying he's better than Rocker. I'd have to disagree with that. Stack right up there with Rocker. Oh, you guys are jokes. I'm not sure he is. No, he's still got a long way to go. Still got a long way to go. But yeah, so really impressed with him. Thought he was excellent. We kind of do have to look a little bit at the fullbacks though. Just before we glaze, I was about to say glaze Rocker a little bit more, but glaze Stack a little bit more. Guys, we need a fullback. We need a fullback big time. Like, I was thinking to myself, pray Gabby Goodmanson doesn't get injured. Pray, like, Bogle doesn't get injured again. And there's news on Jaden this morning. We're going to speak about it because I think it's really important and really key to talk about Jaden. And as you can see on screen there, he potentially might be out for the Chelsea game. That frightens me massively. The Everton game, I should say. It looks like they're bringing Jack Grealish in. If you're to believe all reports, he's probably going to be on maybe Schmidt's side. Might be on the opposite side, to be fair, but it depends where he's going to play Jack. Obviously, we know he can play on either side. I know he likes to cut in, but it's what I felt sorry for Schmidt. Once again, you're watching it in person, and they were building up a lot on that left side. Now, what I do think is on that left hand side, they were targeting a little bit, or on Schmidt's side, they were targeting a little bit because against Villarreal, we saw such a massive hole there. What I would say is, I'm watching Farke in the game. Farke is basically trying to tell the fullbacks consistently to get up. So get up, get up, get up. We know that he sees Schmidt as a little bit of a wing player anyway. That was kind of revealed last season. But effectively, he's telling Gabby Goodmanson and Schmidt to get forward. He's doing that in person. He's doing this. Anytime he's talking to Goodmanson on his side, he wants you to advance. Okay, so he clearly rates the two central defenders and the midfielder just to tuck in there and cover on either side. So if you've got three at the back covering, you're okay on that transition primarily, unless you're coming up against a really solid, quick team on that counter attack. Milan weren't really that yesterday. Obviously, the other day they didn't have Leao playing, they didn't have the conductor and Modric playing as well. So it was one of those really where you could see the fullbacks essentially acting as wingers. And what they were doing consistently is targeting Schmidt's side, which definitely was a ploy. And it's Allegri, it's Massimo Allegri, for goodness sake, one of the, well-known coaches in the world, one of the best coaches in the world as well. They're just hitting that side consistently. Obviously, Gabby Goodmanson's a stronger defender, but Goodmanson's hitting the touchline as well. So a lot of that I do think was overblown a little bit with Schmidt against Villarreal. He was all over the place, but I do think against AC Milan, the instruction was to get forward. So when he's getting caught out, that actually is probably the fault of the central defenders and the midfielders not reading that. But when it came to Jules and stuff, I didn't think he was great. And it's got to a point now where I'm thinking to myself, look, Byron for me wouldn't have been covering the Championship. Yeah, genuinely. Like, if you would say to me for another season, let's say if Leeds had stayed down, and for another season it's Byron in the Championship again, I'd have gone, nah, come on, we need it. We have to get promoted this season. Come on. So I cannot turn around and say to you guys that I'm fine. I'm not fine with that in the Championship, but then I'm fine with that in the Premier League. It doesn't make any sort of sense whatsoever. So I think that is the actual bit. Like, me and my dad were talking about it on the way back, and I said, is it going forward that's worrying you? And he said, it is because, and we'll get into that in just a second. And it is, of course. But he said that fullback's massive. If you don't get that fullback in, there's going to be some serious problems, in my opinion. There's going to be some serious problems because Gabby's not going to be fit for the whole season. I think I really like Goodmanson, by the way. He's growing into the season. Massive problem as well when it comes to, him on one side, but, obviously him on one side, Schmidt on the other side as well. Schmidt and Byron, for me, it's evident in pre-season that maybe positionally they're going to struggle a little bit. Awareness, they're going to struggle a little bit, and maybe just with the general style of play. So they have to go in and get a fullback. I don't know who that is going to be, but that has to be a preference. We were speaking about it the other day, and it's the first thing the old boy said. He said they've got to bring in a fullback because if one of those goes down, you're getting Byron or you're getting Schmidt coming in the Premier League. There is a potential that Schmidt could be, and we didn't see enough of Schmidt last season. There wasn't enough development, really, was the last season. But overall, when he came in, Farke clearly doesn't like him. But it's like he clearly doesn't like him when he's playing in pre-season. But he kind of has to put him in, or it's him and Sam Chambers, isn't it? So we'll get into a few comments anyway, everyone. See what people are saying. Jamie says Mick wasn't outstanding, 2 assists and problems. Schmidt says good on the ball. His position is terrible though. The team played really well. Just need that a bit of magic up top. Would Harvey Elliott fit in our side? Haven't seen him, and he played yesterday, I think, in the Charity Shield. Byram is solid, but the difference in playing style from Goodmanson to him is really worrying. Byram is 10 times better than Schmidt. Now they've got, hey, Matty, how's it going, mate? Good to see you in here. Great meeting you and your dad Saturday, pal. What a fan base we have. Nobody else has this. More games in Ireland, please. Good to see you, Matty. Everyone go and check Matty out on his channel as well. Top lad. Lovely meeting you as well, buddy. Tim says, hi, Connor. Enjoyed the brief synopsis after the game on Saturday on your JH comments. Totally agree that we're short at fullback and cover. Agreed. I mean, interestingly, you played him left back, didn't he, as well? You played Harrison left back as well. So it's fascinating to see how this is going to work. Fascinating to see how the puzzle is going to be put together here. But they've got to go and get a fullback. We're all speaking about it after the game, and if Gabby goes down, if Jaden goes down, I mean, Jaden's been so good in preseason. He's been absolutely excellent in preseason. He's got to be back for that Everton game. He's got to, if we don't get cover, because we know the wing players in the Premier League are the best wing players in the world as well at any level. Every single player. I mean, look at us. There's an argument that our best players are our wing players. An argument, you know. Got to get Pajal. He'd have probably been our best player, wouldn't he? So you're kind of looking at it and thinking teams do build out wide. You know, there's a lot of dynamism, fluidity, pace, agility, acceleration out wide. You know, and that's how you feed the ball into the box for the oncoming midfielders, strikers, whatever it be. So it's really important out wide. A lot of teams build out wide. Connor, money might be the issue when it comes to recruiting for fullbacks. Leeds have spent money on other areas with finances reserved for marquee signing. There won't be enough. Well, there's got to be enough, mate. There's got to be enough. There's got to be enough. CMed, some odd people in this chat. Can we get the mods on CMed, please, everybody? Talking absolute waffle in there. Right, okay, let's get on to the rumours today, shall we, everybody? But great to see a lot of you in the building. Let's slap the likes on the video. What are we on? Let's have a quick look before we get into it. We're going for a while today as well, everybody, so you're going to hear me waffle for a while. Let's see what we're on. Let's see how many of you in the building. Okay, what are we on? Yeah, good lads. We're on 30. Good lads and lasses. We're on 1,300 people in the building. Slap a like on the video, everybody. And let's move on, shall we? Right, okay. Blank screen. What next? Who's coming up? It's Dilane Bakwa, of course it is. Who else would it be? Who else would it be? Right, so was waiting for the flight the other day, and it was. We got there. We're in Belfast, and we had to get from Dublin back to Belfast yesterday. So I was dying. Got back to Dublin, and the old got back to Belfast. Sorry, and the old boy goes, Why don't we go back to Belfast now? And I was looking at the watch, and I'd spoken to Joe, and Joe was like, I'll come in and meet you in Dublin. So we were planning on meeting. But I went, you know what? We better get up there early. Got a flight, you know, in the night. And so I said bye to everyone, said bye to people I'd met, Joe, Darren, Dillo, etc. And we went over, right? And we get there. We get into the airport. And if you've been to the Belfast International Airport, my God, there is not a lot to do. We got there at 6 o'clock. Flight was at 10:30. 35-minute flight. You know, so we were doing a lot, you know, and we're watching a lot of the highlights. This is what I'm talking about this. So I watched the extended highlights we did of Leicester versus Sheffield Wednesday yesterday. This guy was just unbelievable. He is outrageous. He is outrageous. What Leeds are missing dramatically as well. We saw it at the weekend as well. I think Goodmanson over it. I think you might have even seen Harrison over it at one point as well. He's a set piece taker. Bilal Elkanou's got 2 set piece assists yesterday. But technically, throughout the game, my word, he was just all over the place, creating everything, getting in the half spaces, the pockets, on the turn, left or right foot. He was outstanding. And he just kind of reconfirmed to me how good of a signing this guy would be. It's like a central component in that number 8 if you want. And he can link players, play with potentially a Buonanotte or whoever's going to be in there, or just that advanced 10. He is just outstanding, and he can't be playing championship football. It's ridiculous. And obviously there's more interesting clubs than just us and Tottenham, but there is a little bit of a context now around it, really, when it comes to Tottenham, more them than Leeds United, because I think we are the front runners right now. I think if from what you're reading anyway, if Palace are to lose Eze, they'd move. You know, they would move. You know, there's been a lot of talk about RB Leipzig, and we'll get on to that in just a second. But Fabrizio Romano has said that Eze is always at the very top. He said this about 2 hours ago. Eze is on the shortlist for Spurs, as we know. They went in for Nico Paz at Como, 70 million quid last week. That was not back. Well, they wanted 70 million quid. Spurs went in with 40. It feels like that's in and around Spurs' budget for a cam. Sort of 25 to 40 million quid, if you're to believe reports and looking at the targets. So Nico Paz, I think, is off the table. I think that was a bit of a wishful thinking go for anyway. Harvey Elliott was an interesting one, and I'd mentioned this on socials. I thought that'd be a really good option for Spurs. They are in for him, but if you are to believe reports, it looks like Leipzig are waiting for the sell of Xavi Simons, and apparently Jurgen Klopp, the Red Bull connection there. Jurgen Klopp is trying to push through the Harvey Elliott sale in the background. Obviously, to RB Leipzig, we know who Jurgen Klopp works for now. So apparently, he's a massive influence in the background. So it looks like that might get done when it comes to RB Leipzig and Elliott as well. They're probably going to offer him first team football, European football as well, which Spurs will be able to do, obviously. But would he get more development out there? Would he look better in a worse league as well, potentially? And then also this morning, El Bobble as well, who's a fantastic Everton source, has suggested, and well, he stated that apparently Jack Grealish has agreed on a move to Everton. Okay, agreed on a move to Everton. They're just working out the negotiation. So the reason I mention all this is when you're looking at Spurs' targets, when it comes to Nico Paz, when it comes to Harvey Elliott, when it comes to Jack Grealish, when it comes to all of these links that we've been speaking about. And why are we speaking about Spurs? Well, if Spurs come in, we're in a bit of trouble. Yeah, if Spurs come in, we are in a little bit of trouble because we can't offer what Spurs can offer. Now we know with El Khannouss that he's mentioned European football isn't something that he's going to make his decision final, and that's probably because he wants minutes. He wants to develop like he's developed for Leicester City this season as well. So he's probably want to get those numbers up. He's only 21 years of age, gets those numbers up, plays for Leeds United or plays for Palace, West Ham, whoever it is, gets those numbers up, then moves to a European club. As you know, he's going to play every minute, isn't he, for Leeds United or near on. Now, what's interesting about Spurs this morning, Spurs look like they're about to sign Savio, which is mental, from Man City for 50 million quid. So if they bring him in, then it looks like and let's just have a little bit of an update on Savino, see if he's it still looks like apparently they're in talks. So if they bring in Savino, that means that you've kind of got the front four sorted in a sense, if you look at it like that. So obviously Savino one side, and then you've got sort of like Brennan Johnson, haven't you? They bring in a 10. You've got Kudus as well. What are they going to do? You know, you've got like 65 million on Kudus or 65, 70 million quid, whatever it was. Then you've got El Khannouss coming in for 25 million quid. And then you've got Savio in, Savino in for 50 million quid. Are they going to do that? Are they going to spend over 100 million quid? And then you've still got the likes of Brendan Johnson, etc. James Maddison to come back from injury. Are they going to do that? Is that the realism? Is that the realism? But Alistair Gold has said this morning, which is a bit of a blow. Savino, if he does come in, Alistair Gold is tier one Tottenham sources. He's exponentially the top Tottenham source. He said that they'll still need number 10. They will still need number 10, but I just don't understand how they're all going to fit in. I don't understand how they're all going to fit into a Tottenham side, but they are apparently basically monitoring El Khannouss, and that will be a bit of a budget signing for them. But the big thing is, everybody, right now, it feels like Leeds are still in the race when you to believe reports. He's mentioned that Europe's not everything for him. But the big conversation right now, when it comes to Bilal El Khannouss is Friday. Friday, what is Friday? It is the end of his release clause. Now, it feels like when that runs out on the 15th, there is going to be a little bit of a bidding war, but it also depends on what the situation is right now. Can Leeds make El Khannouss agree to a deal before Tottenham make their move? Because Tottenham make their move, we're in the mud. We're not going to be able to get him. And I think you kind of look at that forward line, Savino, El Khannouss, Kudus, and Solanke up front. That's a really good front four. It's a really, really good four. And Solanke's going to massively benefit from that. But maybe they don't. And maybe Kudus plays in the 10. But you've still got Brennan Johnson there, haven't you? Maybe Brennan Johnson's playing there with Savino. I don't know. But Kudus can play in the number 10, and Kudus enjoys playing in the number 10. But as Alistair Gold has said this morning, both Savino and Kudus prefer playing out wide. That is their preference. So are you then going to bring in a number 10? Do they have the money to bring in a number 10? Loads of conversations, but it does feel, when it comes to El Khannouss, that it is very much based on what Tottenham do. If Tottenham decide to go in for him, we'd have a chance, and that's kind of where it's at now, which is upsetting. But it is what it is. Jay says, if we can get Beck in by Friday, then it'll show some real ambition by the club. And look, let's have a look at Granit Xhaka. right? Granit Xhaka going to Sunderland. There were so many clubs looking at Granit Xhaka, so many clubs looking at him. Sunderland got him, you know? Anton Stack, when we got him, so many clubs will have been aware of that deal. So many clubs have been looking at Anton Stack. You just look at rumours associated with that guy. There was about 40 clubs in for him in the last 36 months. So they'll have all have been well aware of Anton Stack. Jacobiol, 5, 6 clubs in for him. Leeds got ahead of it. So there are signings of which Leeds can get ahead of when it comes to the negotiation game. So it feels like we have to act quick though. Look, I've got it on the thumbnail. They need bodies in this week. I call for patience. I'm turning around consistently and saying, I'm turning around consistently and saying stuff like, guys, be patient. Come on, let's be patient and not get too erratic. Do we need signings in this week? I mean, we are on the 11th. Leeds kick off on the 18th, 7 days. So, of course, we do. Of course, we need players in. What I did notice is, and we've all noticed this, we've all noticed. Is everything good? Is everything all good in the chat? Is it? Okay. Is it just a debate? Are we all being respectful in the chat? I hope so. Are we all getting along in the chat? Are we all playing fair? Come on. Let's all be nice in the chat to each other. Come on. Some people aren't even in the chat, which is absolutely fair enough. But okay, let's have a quick look at who is in the building. Yeah, we've got 1.5 guys. Let's make sure we're racking those likes up. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Maybe let's get 2K. Who knows? Con, who are you dropping from the midfield to play El Khannouss? Al, Stack, and Purdue. I've watched him enough to know he's not a winger. He's not a winger, mate. No, he's not a winger. I think Buonanotte is probably more of the right-sided player. It depends what we do. If we play a 4-2-3-1, then El Khannouss fits in that number 10 role. If we play a 4-3-3, we're maybe looking at utilising some 8s, then he goes in there as well. Stack doesn't get dropped. I've said all along this season, Stack is never coming out, I don't think. And Farker loves him. You can tell he loves him. He was making when he was making his moves at the weekend, that he was really clapping him, Farker. I know that sounds daft, but he was loving it. He was really, really encouraged by him. So, but what I'd say with Stack is Stack starting. So the conversation is right now is if we are playing a 4-3-3, which he did look like at the weekend again, who gets dropped? Who gets dropped? I think it's probably between Tanaka and Ampadu, and I've always said that. So I think you might get Longstaff in there and then like a Bilal El Khannouss. So Stack, Longstaff, El Khannouss. I think it's between one of those two. Hey, only one player's rejected is not 5. Okay, let's have a look at what you guys say. Come on, Beck. Spurs finished 17th last season, and why work for Daniel Levy? Yeah, so, but I'm just talking about the weekend as well, everybody. I think how I was looking at it and how, should we just get a little bit of a graphic up as well? Let's have a quick look at what we might be looking at when it comes to a custom lineup. So look, Bogle ideally will be in there. Okay, let's just move a couple of these bits around as well in the lineup. This would have been ideal, but look, you're probably going to get who's going to go right. Let's say James. I thought James was poor at the weekend as well. Dan James thought he really struggled to get in the game. James, if you're looking at Khannouss, Nemecha, but let's say if we don't get anyone in, you're looking at this, and we kind of looked at this at the weekend as well when it comes to a lead starting 11. So let's just go with this, right? So let's say this is our starting 11. What I noticed at the weekend is Nonso isn't like ridiculously quick. He's not ridiculously quick. We've always said this on the channel. He's got a bit of speed about him, but he will always check back, especially on that left-hand side. On the right-hand side, he's a little bit quicker because it's his stride pattern. It's his strongest foot. Yeah, you're running with your strongest foot first. With your left foot, which he's playing on that left-hand side, he always wants to cut inside. So he's not going to be as quick because his lead foot, his left foot on the ball isn't his strongest. So he's always going to try cut inside. So he's not as quick on the left, but he's more dangerous on the left because he cuts inside on that favoured right foot. And you effectively knock the fullback off balance because you're cutting inside. And then the wingers have to help and the centre backs have to help, which drags them out of position. You play the ball in behind there, which hopefully gets you a goal. But there's not a lot of pace. Aronson is not good enough. He's just not. I like Brendan. It's never a personal thing with Brendan. He's just not good enough. He's not good in tight spaces. He's not got that pass efficiency. He's hectic on the ball. There's a chaos factor with him, which I think might work in some games in the Premier League. But overall, he's just not got that killer instinct about him. Dan James, I think the decision making is going to be interesting to see in the Premier League. I love Dan. I've mentioned before I would be starting Dan in terms of that transition. But it's going to be fascinating to see him and how this works with that step up, because I think maybe that step down helped him a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't think he's been great in preseason, albeit he's had a couple of knocks. Metro, or Metro, I should say, was decent when he was on. Peru was a little bit lost, I thought, against Milan. But overall, the screaming thing is against AC, against Paderborn, great. Against the other team we played, was it Veal or whatever it was, VX, 4-1 and 3-2, great. You know, every single player going forward looked dangerous. Against Villarreal, against AC Milan, and against Man United, I think you've seen Leeds be solid. Framework, brilliant. Midfield looks good. I think the centre backs look good. I think Strauch's look decent as well. Goodmanson's coming into it. The right back's still a problem, but I think overall Bogle's been good. So I'm all right with that. Keeper, I'm fine with, and I'm really happy that Darlow's kind of got the nod in front of Melier officially now. But I think, if I'm honest with you, that, which is crazy how things have changed, because we scored a ridiculous amount of goals, didn't we? And we did the season before as well in the championship. So it's very weird, but we are blunt up top. We are blunt. And you could see that at the weekend. There'd be transitional moments and Nonto would have to cut back because maybe he wasn't quick enough and the Milan players got back to maybe get in front of him and put bodies in there. James, I thought, struggled a lot to get the ball out of his feet and get his head up and get the ball into the box and meet the required target. Not just Aronson, it wasn't just Aronson in there, but you know, there was Longstaff as well. I thought it was just a bit of a struggle to get things properly working, you know, and really push the action in the final third. But Leeds played well overall. But as a structure, I thought we came under a little bit of pressure and we dealt with it, which is good. That's what you want to see in preseason. Same with Villarreal, same with Man United. But there is an evident lack of potency up front. There really is. You know, when you're coming up at the weekend against, you know, an Everton team who might play a 4-2-3-1, have Tieno Barry up top, the Villarreal striker they brought in. They're going to have Dewsbury Hall, potentially going to have Jack Grealish, and you know, who knows, Malik Fofana or Iliman Ndiaye. You know, that is sort of a potent front four. You know, it's a good blend. It's a good mix of a bit of pace, good dribblers. So yeah, I think Leeds are just missing that at this moment in time, to be honest with you. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Reese says, doubt the 49ers sitting around waiting for things to happen. They'll be hard at work looking for deals to be done. I agree. Aronson and Ramazani will be good off the bench on either wing. I think the thing with Ramazani, and you guys know this is the One Ramazani YouTube show, but I have to say, I don't see what, maybe, is he a 90-minute player? We were having this conversation the other day, maybe not, but take him off after 70 minutes or whatever it is. This guy was starting in La Liga, you know, he was scoring against Real Madrid, he was making impact, and that's why Leeds effectively signed him, you know. I thought against Man United in that second half, he was our most dangerous player. I think when he's played in preseason, he's looked sharp, but it's just always going to bother me, I think. And I think he did in that game. Tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think when Harrison's coming on ahead of him, I don't know what to say about that. You know, well, you know what I'm thinking about that. But I think Ramazani is the pace right now. He's the acceleration. He's the agility. We don't really have that in the forward line. We don't really have that out and out pace now. You know, so yeah, you've got DJ, haven't you? But he's just come in. But I think when you maybe look at efficiency in front of goal in pre-season and sort of that being mixed with pace, I think maybe Ramazani's been the front of the queue really when it's come to that. So, okay. Coffee, mate. Coffee. We're going to get destroyed by Everton, Connor. The starting 11 is nowhere near the standard needed. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll wait and see. I think at least what's happened is we've looked solid, haven't we? We've looked solid in pre-season, which is something that we all kind of wanted anyway. So I think that's a positive for me anyway. But yeah, we need Bogle back. Let's move on, shall we? Okay, it's an interesting one. So yesterday, there was a link between Leeds United and Nathan Tella. Now, obviously, the Bayer Leverkusen player was absolutely sensational in their German league win under Xabi Alonso. Absolutely outstanding. And apparently Leeds United are among the clubs exploring, another buzzword, they're exploring, fascinated, in love with Nathan Tella. So Leeds apparently sent scouts to observe him when they played Chelsea, and they were at Brighton, Burnley, and West Ham United. Burnley there as well, obviously, also looking at him. Now he can feature as a wing back in certain games as well, but you know, you want this man in the final third. You want this man as part of a front three, but once again, or a front four, I should say. But once again, it's Leeds looking at those wingers again. Tella is not a cam; he's a winger. He's a winger and he's an effective winger at that low centre of gravity. In the Championship, he destroyed it. I think he scored 18 goals in 36 matches. 1 goal every 2 games. 22 goals in 79 appearances for Leverkusen, which is really good for a winger. So yeah, he's been decent, I think, for last season. A little bit of a struggle when Bayern Munich came absolutely flooding back. And obviously Leverkusen weren't as great last season, were they? But before that, I think he's had a really good campaign, a couple of campaigns for Burnley and then Leverkusen. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Interesting to see. And what do you think about that as well? What do you think about that? Tell her the sub every club should have. Yeah, 100%. Andrew says, no way Everton are destroying us. They don't. So, yeah, I think, what I'll say about the Everton game is I think it'll be close. I think it will be close. I think it is a game, and a lot of people don't agree with me on this, but I think already it's a must not lose. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it, really. And I know a lot of people say, Connor, there's a weird sort of notion. I think it's because people hit the panic button when it comes to this sort of stuff. And they said, Connor, you've been too reactionary. It's not a must win. It's not. It's not. This is not like a crazy thing to say. You've got to be targeting a lot of that bottom half or the bottom 8, bottom 9 at home as wins. You can't just beat Sunderland and Burnley twice over, which, by the way, will be really difficult anyway. That's not a given. That's just 12 points if you beat them twice over. If you're going to hit that 40-point mark, you need to be beating Everton at home, especially with the next 2 that we've got coming up. It's not an easy starting 5 for Leeds. We know this, and then you got, to back end the 5 starting fixtures, you got Fulham away, I believe, and Wolves away. So you got to look at that and you got to think to yourself, they've got to get something against Everton. They've got to get something against Everton, really. So for me, it's not one of those games of which I'm looking at and thinking, there's a huge difference between the two sides. I think Everton have improved. It'll be interesting to see towards the back in the window as well. If they get Malik Fofana, that'd be a top signing. But with Grealish coming in, that maybe knocks that out the park. But yeah, Grealish, Iliman Ndiaye, Dewsbury Hall, Tieno Barry, it's a good front four. It's a good front four. And I think Everton will be fine this season. They've got a strong back line. It's going to be a difficult game, but every game in this division is going to be difficult. And Leeds we're not a poor team whatsoever. I think there's, maybe you probably shade Everton right now, wouldn't you, in terms of the better team? Of course you would. So, especially if Grealish comes in, which it looks likely. But, Leeds have got a nucleus there. We've got a good framework. We've got a good structure. But yeah, we do need players in. But you've got to be looking at Everton. You've got to be looking at Everton as a win. And it's not any sort of, I'm not turning around and saying, Everton are a poor side or anything like that. But you've got to be targeting these games. You've got to be targeting your Wolves. You've got to be targeting your West Hams. You've got to be targeting your Palaces if you can. Especially after yesterday. It's not going to be easy. Your Bournemouth, your Brentford. You've got to be targeting these teams at home. And if you don't, you're in La La Land. You are in La La Land. You really are, So yeah, I think this is one of those games that we should be looking to get points, obviously. Bricks on the Coast says, are you getting Mike from Blue Boys on, Connor? Hopefully, mate. Yeah, watch this space. Everton is a must-win. Difficult, but need to stay up 1 point per game. Last season won't apply this season. Matty says, we'll have to get the OG late night Leeds host onto the current late night Leeds. 100%, mate. Just yeah, I'll have to keep the mists in the other room because you go at like ridiculous o'clock, don't you, mate? So yeah, but 100%, but anytime. Connor Trophy's looking good. It's looking nice, isn't it, mate? That yellow, it's popping. We will beat Everton. If Everton get Grealish, would he even be ready to play this week? It's a good question, JJ. Would he be ready to play this week? You presume so. I mean, you look at I follow Grealish on Instagram, and it looks like he's been hammering it in the preseason as well. Looks like he's maybe lost a pound or two as well. So, yeah, I think so. I think he'll be ready to start. Grealish isn't going to be on there. He'll have known that he's going to be moving on. Same with like Harvey Elliott. It's going to be the same with these periphery players. They're going to be knowing that they're going to be moving on at some stage in this season. And Grealish, I think, is known from January onwards that he's going to be moving on. So interesting one. Nico Gonzalez. Okay, national team. Excellent. If you're to believe Argentinian reports, can play on the left, can play on the right, can play up front. Leeds United have been linked to him this weekend, and the YP actually reported this as well. So obviously, we're looking right now at a left winger, a right winger, whatever the friggin' hell it is when it comes to wingers. It looks like Leeds are sort of looking across that front four still. We don't know if it's a cam, if we're still going for a Pai Zhao equivalent. We know we're going for a centre forward as well. So it feels like we've got our fingers in a lot of different pies here. What I'll say, I'm going to say this off the bat. If we get in a fullback, if we're getting a 9, And if we get in a left winger slash cam, slash cam, so like sort of either or, one can drift over, whatever. I think we've got a very good side. Honestly, I think we've got a, I think we've got a very good team, and I think they've got to be looking at three more. But if they bring in those three, I think Leeds are going to be seriously competitive this year. You know, I genuinely do. So I think if you get in a quad, let's say, you bring in a James Justin, and I know a lot of you people, I don't know why, but people don't seem to like that one. But James Justin, I think, would be a really decent replacement. You bring in James Justin, you bring in El Khannouss, and you bring in Rodrigo Muniz. It's a really good window. It's a really, really good window. Or you look at an equivalent like Nico Gonzalez or Bakwa or whoever it is. But I think that is a top window from the club. I genuinely do. You can't do much better than that, with the predicament that we're in, just newly promoted and keeping it. The big thing with Leeds is as well. What you got to think, everybody, is we've kept a hold of a hell of a lot of our players. You know, Tanaka's not moved on. Rodon's not moved on. You know, I think that's big. I really do. I think keeping hold of what we have, and you look at the other teams. You look at Sunderland. Look, I know it's good for PSR, and they probably won't miss him, but he's a good player. Tom Watson moving on, Joe Bellingham moving on, which has helped fund what they've funded. But Joe Bellingham would have been, in my opinion, a really good Premier League asset. I think he was developing. He's physical. He's big. I think he'd have fit in really nicely. You look at Burnley losing CJ Egan Riley, James Trafford, Brownhill, and then you look at Leeds. We've not lost any players. Solomon, yeah, but Solomon was on loan, wasn't he? He was on loan, and I think people like myself and others were maybe saying if we got to the Premier League, you should be looking at a level up, and that's what Leeds have been doing with Pajau, etc. So you look overall, and Leeds have managed to keep the nucleus. We managed to add to it, but to get three more in, it's been a top window. It really has. But Nico Gonzalez, quick, and he'd add pace. Genuinely would add a lot of pace, agility, acceleration. He's got it. He's got it all when it comes to that good in tight space as well. It'd be a terrific signing for Leeds. It would. You ask any Argentinian fan, or you even have a little search online when it comes to Nico Gonzalez at Juventus. The positive thing is with Juve, they love a sale. They love a sale. They love an absolutely terrible sale as well. And ever since they brought in Lloyd Kelly, I've been watching Juve and going, what is their transfer business? So yeah, look, if they bring in 25 million quid for Nico Gonzalez, it's going to be a good move as well, because it means they can obviously invest that capital. Juve have been struggling when it comes to negotiation for years now, in my opinion, anyway. Letting hold of Hoyson all those years ago. What did they sell him to Bournemouth for? Was it about £5? Unbelievable. So yeah, I like Nico Gonzalez. Would be a good signing for me, and yeah, well, wait and see on that one. Okay, Dilane Bakwa. This guy, it feels like, is just going to be going on and on and on when it comes to Leeds United. Strasbourg, 22 years of age, sorry, £26 million. Forest put a bid in, was rejected. And apparently there is Juve in the background. Leeds are always mentioned when it comes to Bakwa. Newcastle are in the midst as well, although I don't really see how that would work with Newcastle. I think they've just been plumbed in there when it comes to interest. I think they've kind of got their wing options sorted, really. Unless you want a replacement for Murphy or whatever, but I'm not sure. Leeds been in there. It feels like that's never going to go away. Huge sell-on value, of course, but I think he's going to cost between 30 and 35 million. To be honest, guys, I don't think there's going to be any reduction in that, especially with Forest having that rejection there as well. So yeah, let me know what you think on those rumours, everybody, when it comes to those. Would you take Bakwa? Do you want Bakwa? Is it something that we should be looking at? Do you want, are we looking at sort of a left winger, or are you looking at a right winger? I guess that's the question, isn't it? AC Milan obviously Loftus-Cheek came on, didn't he, for their game at Stamford Bridge. Leao came on. Obviously Modric came on as well. Cheeky bid on most cheeky player Loftus. I don't really see where that would work, mate, if I'm honest with you, because I think they've sorted the four. I think they've sorted the four central midfielders, and that's where I see Loftus-Cheek, to be honest with you. Grealish to Everton, here we go. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Nicholas, thank you so much, mate. Always see you in here. Morning, Connor. Smash a like for the best show and the top presenter. Thanks, buddy. Rich said it's a great point that we've kept our players. Let's not forget that it's dominated last season. It is. It's a really good. It's a really good side. I think that's a. Honestly, I think that's a really important facet that people are missing out on. Look, there was a lot of people who were going into the season. We bought Al Tanaka for 3.4 million quid. You had Declan Rice bigging him up in the off season. If Leeds had gone out to agents and said, "Look, this guy, we can move him on. We can move him on." Nonso, do you remember PSR? Nonso's going to move on. I was saying the same thing. I thought he was going to move on. Strauch, he's going to move on. None of them have moved on. None of them. And that's what they'll say at the end of the season if we stay up. That's what they'll say. They'll say, look, we managed to keep all these three. A lot of people were talking about them when it came to PSR. Lots of people were talking about Tanaka. Tanaka being the fuel for our window, really. And if they sold Tanaka, they'd have so much to go on with in terms of money. We'd be able to might be able to get a Nico Gonzalez over the line. Might have been able to go to however many for Pajau, even though he wouldn't have come. But we might have been able to do that. But they're not going to sell Tanaka. Why would you do that? Why would you weaken yourself and sell one of your best assets? But the profit that are made on him would have been massive. They've not really done it. Like even I know a lot of people don't like Joseph. I know now a lot of people don't like him. I understand that. But what they've done is, and look, it feels very final when it comes to Joseph. I have to be honest, I like Matteo. I don't like how he's gone about this. I really don't. I don't think he's done himself any favors whatsoever. Um, but you send him out on loan with an option. The cards are in Leeds' hands. They are, but they could have reduced the value, couldn't they? They could have reduced the value and gone, do you know what? Whatever, just take him. Just take him. Look, there's too much noise. I'm happy Leeds aren't doing that. We did do that in a period like, when we sold Leif Davis to Ipswich for 1 million quid, etc., etc. Charlie Cresswell for 4 million pounds. So we've done this in our past where it's almost like there's a young player and we've gone, nah, get rid. But it feels at least with Joseph that there's an option. It's not an obligation. You're coming back, and you can throw your dummies out the pram all you want. Although I do believe with Joseph that toys out the pram, not your dummies. Or you dummies. But I do feel with Joseph, a lot of it was centered around wanting to play. But yeah, he didn't go about it in the right way whatsoever. However, if he comes back and we're in the Premier League and he's gone out and I keep mentioning this, gone out and scored 15 goals in La Liga, comes up, we hold all the cards. So that's a good move from Leeds. We're not just buckled and sold on. So in a sense, that's good business as well. But yeah, overall, it's going to be interesting to see how the final sort of furlong goes, really. Connor, can you explain if you know why if we meet Beck clause, what is stopping us unless he doesn't want to come? I think that's it, James. It'll be what from what we know anyway. From what we know, the reports last week were Leeds are talking to his representatives and meeting him and his people this week. That was happening in the next couple of days. So the next couple of days, I reported this on Friday. So it's probably going to be over the weekend or it might have been earlier on this week. So we will be speaking to his representative. Spurs, it doesn't look like right now, I've even put an inquiry in, but you're just watching some of the parts falling together, when you look at Savino, when you're looking at Harvey Elliott, when you're looking at Nico Paz, when you're looking at all these players and you're thinking that you're looking at Grealish going to Everton, it's like they may go for him here. But, you know, look, you can turn around if you Bilal El Khannouss and say Europe doesn't matter. Europe, of course, will matter. Of course, it's going to matter for him, especially if they're convincing him. Lloyd says Leeds are a way bigger club than Everton. Another player, Joseph, has left. I'm not sure. Like, even as a look, I'm a staunch Leeds United fan. I don't know why you'd say. I don't think you can say Leeds are a bigger club than Everton. It's just my opinion, but I don't think you can. Even my dad, who still thinks we're bigger than every other club on the planet, apart from Man United and Liverpool and Arsenal, but I'd still think we're bigger than Chelsea, right? Okay, but no, I don't think you can say we're bigger than Everton. I think they've won way more trophies than us. I think way more first divisions than us as well. They've never been relegated out of the Premier League. Look at the last 20, 25 years. They've been more successful in a sense of being in the Premier League and all this sort of stuff than Leeds United. I don't think Leeds are bigger. Same sort of fan base, I guess. So yeah, not for me, mate. I don't think so. Can see Leeds bidding after the clauses, and then we said we tried. How good would it be if we get Beck? Here we go this week. That'd be amazing, mate. It would. Robin says, I think we get Mondays done late, and El Khannouss will go somewhere. It's his pace that will be a problem for Sarr. That's all. Everton always been in the Prem. Yeah, Everton are a big club. They are a big club. I think we're similar. I genuinely think we're a similar club, similar stature. But yeah, I'd put Everton above Leeds. Yeah. Currently thinking we finish 18th, 19th with the current squad. We have to bring more. I agree with you, Bobby. Yeah, agree with you. Here we go, Grealish to Everton. Do you think Harrison will be the backup left wing back? Oh, God. Right. If you're an OG on the channel, you'll always know that I said his best position is left wing back. I always said it. It's because I don't want him near the goal. But his best position is left wing back. And do I sometimes blow out of proportion Jack Harrison? Of course I do. Of course. You look at his numbers for Leeds, they weren't that bad. They weren't that bad. But overall, I just do not think he's good enough. I don't think he's proven it in the last 2 to 3 years. I mean, good enough for this club. I don't think he is. Um, but I think in duels he's okay. He's got a decent left foot, and he'll have a little bit more time, a remit to get forward as well. It might work for him. And he was played left wing back, wasn't he, effectively at the weekend? So yeah. I'm sorry, Dean. It's not flagged up, mate. I'll have a quick look, buddy. Dean, thanks a lot for that, pal. I'd say to Leicester, we will give you Bamford and Melier and 10 million for El Khannouss. I think they'd push back on that, to be honest, Dean. Dean's also said, if we stay up the season and survive, I'll donate 50 quid to a charity of your choice, mate. I'm confident we will at the end of the season. Good man, Dean. Dean, follows. Let me know on socials, mate, and I'll match it. All right. If we stay up, I'll match it. I'll match that 50 quid. Would you put Leeds in the top 10 biggest clubs in England? Yeah. 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 100%. Yeah, I would. I think, yeah. Yeah, I would. I'm trying to go through all the clubs in my head. I'm trying to go through all the clubs, but yes, I would. I can go through them if you want. Oh, I'm just trying to get all the clubs up and see where I'd rank them. Where would I rank them? This is purely based on historical performances, honourable mentions. I go. Oh, 10's hard though, isn't it? I'd probably go the dark side first, Liverpool second, Arsenal third, modern City fourth. I know. Modern City. I'm taking into consideration silverware and fan base and stuff. Spurs fifth. No, Chelsea fifth. Spurs sixth. Villa seventh. Everton eighth. Everton eighth. Leeds ninth. West Ham 10th. Wolves 11th, Sunderland 12th. There you go. That's what you're getting. That's what you're getting. Coopsy, it's just a bit of a laugh, mate. Just chill out. Rory Jennings had Leeds in 7th, mate. He loves us, doesn't he? He loves us, Jennings. He always pretends that he's like, I hate Leeds, but they're really great, aren't they? Great pillar of English football. Leeds United, the greatest pillar of English football, back in the big time. Yeah, he loves it, doesn't he? Right, legends. I'm going to leave right now at 1.7k of you in the building. Do us a favor, slap a like. If any news comes out, we will be here streaming, ready and waiting for all of your fantastic eyes. Listen, do me a favor. Check out the sponsors. Okay, we've got, I think, 3 shops now listed on Shop GNO, the Leeds United ran e-commerce site. Bunch of Leeds fans, better rates than Amazon, Vinted, and eBay. We're going to be doing gifts, rewards, and planning. I'm meeting the owner this week to think about prizes that I can give away. We're going to be doing it on the watch along as well. The Everton watch on, we're going to be giving away some bits and bats. So you need to be watching that to get involved in it. Everybody as well. We're going to be giving out the prizes, talking about the prize. It might be a 3rd kit. We gave 4 away kits out last time we did a prize giveaway, but you do have to be registered on the Shop GNO sites. Listen, on the Job Gino site, and you can get 30% off, 40% off. It's just like eBay, Amazon, but it's well worth it. Link in the description below. Job Match Group, all of your jobs on there, catered to your specific needs, everybody. Make sure you check them out. Fantastic stuff. Match Bingo, Leon and the gang are getting ready, setting sail for the Premier League season and the Championship season. So we're going to be doing a few bits with them, everybody. You deposit 5 quid, you get 10 quid absolutely free as well. Make sure you're involved in that. And yeah, guys, Patreon, if you want to join the WhatsApp group, do that. Link in the description below for that. All the good bits, everybody. But we'll be back very, very soon, I'm sure. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let's hope for a